One of the many things I despise about the Trump era is that our moral outrage meter is now totally broken to the point where there could be some like colossal news that we need to digest and act on, and we just can't anymore. We can't anymore because Trump broke us as a country where, we had 7 scandals a day that just, almost make us numb to some real world shit that matters a lot, right? This is a great example of exactly that. Let me show you this. Mohammed Safa says the following: "We are officially entering global water bankruptcy. The UN has announced that we will start running out of clean water, drinking, cooking, showering, dishes, laundry, etc. in the next few years. Water won't always be free. When clean water becomes scarce, it will be privatized, priced, controlled. You will pay for it, and those who can't pay won't survive." Okay? This is from the UN directly. Global water bankruptcy. I don't know, man. Seems like maybe we should all be talking about this, and maybe government should be acting on it and trying to do anything and everything in their power in order to stop this from occurring. And of course, you're not going to be surprised to learn what's the culprit. Climate change, of course. Everybody knew for a long time one of the worst elements of climate change is going to be wars over water. Because of the changing climate and on average, everything becoming way hotter, you're having more extreme weather events, more drought, more famine, fresh water sources are running low, and so there's going to be wars over water at some point. That's what it is. And so now that day is here where they say, look, it's inevitable. This is going to happen. And I still see no actual talk about this. I can't you want to talk about feeling like a doomer, feeling pessimistic. When I read this and then there was nothing. I didn't see anything on CNN, didn't see anything on MSNBC, didn't see any U.S. politicians talk about this. And then meanwhile, you ready for this? This shows you how psychotic this current moment in history is. Ready for this? Large data centers can each drink up to 5 million gallons per day, or about 1.8 billion annually. So at the same time, we're entering global water bankruptcy. Right now is when the AI billionaires are demanding that we build more data centers, which require, basically stealing billions of gallons of fresh water. In a world that made sense, as soon as the news came out that, hey, we're entering global water bankruptcy, every world government would have said, okay, that's it. We're shelving the data center plans. At the moment, we're freezing it, and we're going to have to address this water shortage and this water crisis before we ever even discuss moving forward in any way, shape, or form with more data centers. But the world doesn't make sense. And of course, billionaires run the world. There's an elite cabal of pedophile billionaire rapists, and they actually run the world. And so they're making the real decisions. And the corporations are making the real decisions. And the governments are beholden to those corporations. A medium-sized data center can consume up to roughly 110 million gallons of water per year for cooling purposes, equivalent to the annual water usage of approximately 1,000 households. Larger data centers can each drink up to 5 million gallons per day, or about 1.8 billion annually. Usage equivalent to a town of 10,000 to 50,000 people. Together, the nation's 5,426 data centers consume billions of gallons of water annually. One report estimated that U.S. data centers consume 449 million gallons of water per day and 163.7 billion gallons annually as of 2021. A 2016 report found that fewer than one-third of data center operators track water consumption. Water consumption is expected to continue increasing as data centers grow in number, size, and complexity. According to scientists at the University of California, Riverside, each 100-word AI prompt is estimated to use roughly 1 bottle of water. This may not sound like much, but billions of AI users worldwide enters prompts into systems like ChatGPT every minute. Large language models require many energy-intensive calculations necessitating liquid cooling systems. So do you see the issue here? This is an existential battle for humanity, for the future of humanity. And right now, the billionaires are prioritizing the machines and their, continued existence over the world and innocent people throughout the world who have a right to clean water. And so I think we're in a super precarious position right now. And I need everybody to immediately wake up and realize your enemy was never the trans person. It was never the immigrant. It was never the black person. Your enemy was always the billionaire. Your enemy was always the elite, the top 1%, the people that have all the wealth and all the power and buy world governments and rig governments and skew the laws in their favor. These were always the people who, make your life more difficult. These are the people who try to cut the social safety net as they give themselves more tax cuts and more subsidies. These are the people who try to remove all safety regulations and labor regulations that make life worth living. These are the people who try to crush unions and take away the negotiating power of the people. And now we're at a point where we're entering global water bankruptcy, and they're building more and more and more data centers. How does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We're doing this haphazard thing where like we're the equivalent of the child doing something super dangerous, like willy-nilly, and then we get hurt, and then we're like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Except there's those of us who are screaming from the rooftops right now through a megaphone, we need to stop this. I'm sorry, at this moment, I think AI should be banned. I think AI should be banned. I think there should be a moratorium on creating any more data centers. There should be a moratorium on trying to get to AGI, artificial general intelligence. I think we need to ban it right now. I think we need to ban it because when you look at, you need the data centers to make AI function, and it requires all this water, this fresh water that we don't have. Well, obviously we need to prioritize water for human beings over water for machines, right? And there's no talk about this. There's no talk about this. So this is yet another issue added to the slate of issues the Democrats in the U.S. need to take a stand on. But like, you got to cut off the money and the weapons to Israel and sanction Israel. Break up with Israel. Arrest all the Trump regime criminals, and there's a lot of them. Tax the motherfucking billionaires, but also ban AI. A moratorium on building any new data centers and a moratorium on any more advancement in AI. We can't do it. We can't do it. And they've already taken, because of AI, it's already the case that 34% of entry-level jobs are gone. And so now you're going to have a white-collar Armageddon. We already had the blue-collar Armageddon. That was all the outsourcing at NAFTA, the World Trade Organization, permanent normal trade relations with China. That destroyed the working class in this country and made it so, they were screwed. They were screwed. And then you had all these former factory towns that are now like hubs of drug addiction and just desolate, dark, gray, sad places where people are broken and living lives of despair. And now that same thing we're about to witness happen to the white-collar jobs too. All the white-collar jobs that are there now AI is coming for those jobs. So this is the world that the billionaires want. They want a world where if you are working class, if you're the bottom 90%, 95, 99%, fuck off. Fuck off. There's going to be no social safety net. There's going to be no jobs for you. You're not going to be able to pay the bills. And the top 1% is going to have all of the income, all of the wealth, all the power, all the control. And everybody's basically a slave peasant to that class of people. And they're creating these machines where they get all the wealth from those machines, right? And now it's hogging all of the world's resources in order to bring about their dream of artificial general intelligence. This is like the plot to a bad sci-fi movie. The lack of foresight among our leaders is astounding to me. The fact that they're all vapid husks of human beings. They're all totally empty because none of them actually give a shit about humanity and about protecting us from, the worst elements of climate change and the worst elements of AI. And now it's like, whatever, let the data centers use the water and fuck all the people in developing countries and eventually the people in developed countries. That's where we are now. That's where we are. So it's time, bro. It's time to act. We need a total moratorium on any more data centers, total moratorium on any further advancement in AI, because now we're talking about existential life and death type shit. It's not even just, hey, it's going to take all the jobs, which is one thing. But now it's also, oh yeah, that water, we're in global water bankruptcy and we kind of need it for the people. So fuck, it shouldn't be going to your machines. Like it's a very simple thing that everybody agrees with in theory. It's now time to impart that in reality.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.